Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to design this mount for the LCD display of the Ender-3 S1. I create a new design, then I create a sketch on this plane, on the top plane. I draw a box starting from center, moving left 25 by 25. Now I draw a line here with an angle of 110 degrees with this vertical line here. I draw a second line and I make them parallel. Now between this point and the center I tap in 4 millimeters, and between the two lines I tap in 0.5 millimeters. Now I trim this part here and this line here. Now I select these lines and I make them construction lines. Now I draw another line here. I make it a construction line and I put an angle of 100 degrees with this vertical line here. There it is. Now I draw two lines like this. I make these two lines parallel and I make these two lines perpendicular. Between these 2 points I tap in 37 millimeters, and between these two 6 millimeters. Now I can finish the sketch. Now I create an offset plane starting from this plane 40 millimeters upward, and now I create a sketch on this plane. I hide the first sketch. Now I draw another box of 25 by 25, starting with the upper right corner on the center. I draw a line here with an angle of 108 degrees. I draw a second line and make them parallel. Between the two lines I tap in 0.5 millimeters, and between this point and the center I tap in 10 millimeters. Now I trim this line and this one here. Now I select these lines and make them construction lines. There we go. Now I can finish the sketch. Now I have my two sketches. Now I will create a loft, and I choose these two faces. I click OK. I display the second sketch, the first sketch. I extrude this face up to this face here. There it is. Now I create a sketch on this face here. I draw a construction line at the center here. Now I draw two circles here. For the first one, I type in a diameter of 6 millimeters, and for the second one, a diameter of 12 millimeters. The distance between the circle and this line here is 10 millimeters. I create a mirror and I select the two circles. I select this line, and now between the two circles I type in a distance of 20 millimeters. There we go. Now I can finish the sketch. I select extrude. I select these two faces. I change the direction and I put distance on. I display the sketch again. I click extrude. I select these two faces and I type in -5. For operation I select cut and I click OK. There it is. Now I click on fillet. I select this line and I type in 25 millimeters for the radius. Now I create another sketch on this face here. I go to create project and then I select this face. I click OK. Now I draw two lines, a box like this, and I put these two lines parallel. These two lines are perpendicular as well as these two. The space, the distance between the two lines is 5 millimeters. I draw a construction line here, starting from this point. I make it a construction line. Now, between this line and this construction line, I type in 48 degrees. There we go. Now I draw a line between this point and here, and between this point and here. Between the two lines I type in 5 millimeters. Now I draw a line from this point to this point here, and another line from this point to here. I make them parallel. Now the distance between the two lines is 2.6. The angle between this line and this one is 59.5 degrees. Now for this line I type in 12.5 millimeters. For the length of this line I type in 80 millimeters. There we go. Now we can finish the sketch. Now I click extrude. I select these faces. I type in -37 millimeters. For operation I choose join and I click OK. Now I create a sketch on this face. I draw a construction line. Between the line and this point I type in 20 millimeters. Now I draw a circle. I draw a vertical line, then an arc and another vertical line. I make these 2 points horizontal. I make these 2 lines symmetric with this line here. Now I can remove this part and this one. Between these 2 lines I type in 7 millimeters. For the length of this line I type in 8 millimeters. For the arc here I type in a radius of 5 millimeters. Now between this circle and the top I type in 12 millimeters. I do the same. I draw a circle. I draw a vertical line. An arc, another vertical line. I make these 2 points horizontal. I make these 2 lines collinear and also these 2 lines. I trim this part here and this one. I make these 2 arcs equal. I make also these 2 lines equal. Now between the 2 circles I type in 36 millimeters. Now I can finish my sketch. I select extrude. I select these 2 faces and I type in minus 20 millimeters. For operation I select cut and then OK. Now I select fillet. I select this line, this line, this one and this one, and I type in 3 millimeters for the radius. I select fillet again. I select this line and this one and the one at the bottom, and I type in 3 millimeters. OK. I choose fillet again. I select this line, this one and this one, and I type in 1 millimeter for the radius. I click on add, select this line, this one, this one, tap in 1 millimeter for the radius. There we go. Now I create a sketch on this face. I draw a construction line at the middle here, perpendicular. For the distance, I type in 2.6 millimeters. I go to arc, 3-point arc. I click on this point. I click here and here and here. Now between this point and this point here, I tap in 2 millimeters. Also between this point and this point, I tap in 2 millimeters. Okay. Now I click offset. I click on the arc and I type in 1.4 millimeters. There it is. Now I draw a construction line here and another one here. I make it tangent and I trim this part. Now I click on arc, tangent arc. I click on this point here and on this one. Now I remove this construction line. I click on tangent. I click on this line and on this line here. Now I select the mirror. I click on this line and on this one, and for the mirror line I will choose this line here. I click OK. And there it is. We have our shape. Now I can finish my sketch. I click extrude. I select this contour and I tap -5 millimeters. For the operation, I select join and I click OK. Now I create a mid plane between this face and this one. Okay. Now I go to mirror. I select features for object type. I click on the extrusion here. For the mirror plane, I select this one and I click OK. And here it is. We're done with the mount. Now the difference between the touch screen and this one with the rotary is that here at the back we have these extrusions here which do not exist on the touch screen. So that's why when I place this one on the mount, it fits correctly, there is no wobbling. But when I place the touch screen, we notice that it is still wobbling. And to fix that issue, I've designed this piece here. I put it at the back, here at the back. And now I can put it on the mount, and there it is, there is no more wobbling.